Hey guys, Neel here. So I have a quick announcement. I am officially a YouTuber now. I just released my own channel. It's called at Neel B Parek, where I document my life living in Africa while building a national cleaning franchise. So I have about 4 episodes out right now. All of them are super action packed. The first one's about me hiking to Uganda, and the next one's a day in the life in Africa and what I actually do, and just kind of document the journey of a digital nomad living in Africa while building a national cleaning franchise. So check it out. Again, the YouTube channel is called Neel B Parek, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes as well. What is going on, podcast listeners? Neel here for another episode of The Freedom Formula. I'm here with William Milliken, and I was telling Will before, it's kind of funny because I was just talking about a dog poop cleanup business, and one day later, I got connected with William, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I've been dying to learn more about this business model. So happy to have William on. Quick background on William before we dive in. So Will transformed a very simple idea, picking up dog poop, into a very thriving, over $2 million business with over 2,500 customers in just 4 years. He's the CEO and co-founder of SwoopScoop. So started with just $175 in equipment and turned the most hated household chore into an actual money pit. So, or money, not money pit. What's the right word? William? Like a gold mine. Let's go with that
Opposite.
one. There we
Yeah.
go. And Will now helps a lot of other people build a similar type of model using what he's doing with his online community called Poop Scoop Millionaire. Anyways, William, thanks so much for hopping on, dude.
Yeah, appreciate it, Neil. Great to be here.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, let's dive into the early part of your journey. So, can you tell me about your background before you started into what you're doing right now?
Yes, my background's in digital marketing. So I used to do a lot of marketing for like local home service companies, worked at a big agency, eventually left that, had a business partner kind of doing marketing for people. I realized that I make a lot more money if I own the companies rather than just doing the marketing for the companies. So my first, I
Yep.
guess, real successful business was actually an electrical company. So I partnered with a guy that was an electrician for 30 plus years. I did all the marketing, helped set up the CRM, that type of thing. We grew that from zero to seven figures in about 5 months, just doing like little electrical jobs, electrical panels, lights, stuff like that. And kind of around the same time I was doing that, I had a buddy from school that wanted to start a business with me because he saw how good that was going. And he didn't really have any skills like HVAC or plumbing or electrical. And my wife was pregnant at the time, ended up hiring a pooper scooper service. And I thought they kind of sucked and that we could do better. So we just went for it. Wasn't expecting much, maybe make an extra $1,000 a month or something. Nothing crazy, but it turned out to be probably my best business.
Dude, lots of back there. Can you, by the way, one quick thought. It's funny how many people who are doing digital marketing that I just think like, dude, just freaking start the business yourself. And we're in the
Yeah.
maid service business, right? And like part of my strategy I want to do, because now it's franchising, is go to people who do digital marketing and say, hey, stop selling Yelp ads or stop doing it for somebody else. Just do it for yourself. Like just join the franchise. So
Yeah.
it's a no-brainer. Were you doing SEO, AdWords? What were you doing?
Yeah, SEO, AdWords, for electrical company, I think Google local service ads that just came out. So that was just like the easiest way to
Killer.
get
Yeah.
unlimited leads when that first started. But the Poop Scoop business works completely different, right? There's not any search volume for it. Not a lot of people knew that the service actually existed. So we had to find ways to actually get in front of people. So running more like meta ads, truck wraps, things like that is what blew that business up.
Well, can you explain the business model in simple terms? What exactly is a Poop
Mm.
Scoop business?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. We basically go to people's house, pick up their dog poop, and leave. And we have all our customers on a subscription basis. So we pre-bill all our customers the month before. We'll either come out twice a week, once every other week, once a month, and we'll set their subscription price based on the frequency and how many dogs that they have.
Oh, interesting. And okay, so you just like these are typically houses and there's just poop in the backyard and you guys will
Yep,
walk in,
yep,
pick up the poop and leave?
yep. People that don't want to pick up after themselves, maybe they're disabled, they're elderly, or maybe both parents are working, their kids don't do it. So there's kind of quite the variety, but for the most part, our typical customers are female in their 30s and 40s.
Interesting. And can you tell me what the charge, like how much you guys charge for the packages? So you mentioned there's different
Mm.
frequencies, right? So people could do
Yeah.
every week, every other week, whatever, twice
Mm.
a week, whatever it is. What's the most common and what's the pricing?
Yeah, probably our most common is weekly, with two dogs is what most people have. And our average price, like across all subscriptions and frequencies, in our first location in Spokane, a little bit smaller market, it's about $105 a month. And in our Seattle market, it's around $120 a month is what the average customer pays.
So let's say someone wants to do once a week pickup.
Mhm.
Do you guys charge it based off of how many dogs they have, or it's just like, it's unlimited poop?
Yeah, so it'll be usually 1 to 4 dogs, and then yeah, there's that weekly cleanup frequency. So
So how much would that be for 1 to 4 dogs on a weekly basis to pick up the poop?
I want to say, I think it's like $107 for 2 dogs weekly, something like
Okay,
that in Spokane. We actually have an online calculator at SwoopScoop. You just punch in your zip code and you get an instant quote, sign up for services automatically. So
very cool. And that's $100 per month for
yep,
every week service. $25
yep.
per pickup
Yeah,
is kind of what it
around
is.
about. So, and then we level bill it over the year. So there's about 4.33 weeks in every single month. So some months will come out 5 times, most months will come out 4 times, but it just levels out the billing so the customer pays the same thing every month.
Okay, cool. I have a million questions, by the way, because like this is all fascinating for me, especially from a tactical perspective of how this model actually works. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to poke holes in it because I'm super curious about this. $25 each time seems like such a small amount for,
Mhm.
setting an operation and doing these kind of things. Can you walk me through that? Like, how does
Mhm.
this actually make sense?
Yeah, well, it makes sense through efficiency. So one person can typically do up to around 30 yards a day because we're just in and out really quick. It doesn't take that
Okay.
long to walk a yard. Um, so yeah, 30 yards a day, depending on what you're charging, they're making seven, eight, $900 a day per truck, kind of a thing.
So 30 yards a day. So that's one truck, is what you're saying.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
cool. And you guys have your own vehicles, right? So there's a vehicle
mhm,
with the truck, which goes out with an employee, and they go out there and do it. Okay.
yep,
So let's say 30 per day and $25 ish per. So yeah, $750 per day in revenue is what they could generate.
hmm
Um, I, by the way, like I'm shocked that this many people subscribe to a service like this.
Me
Were you
too.
shocked too, or like now
Yeah.
that you're in it, you're like, oh wow, there's a whole underground economy of people who do this? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea. One of the first things I look at when I start a new business is how much search volume there is for any given
right.
service, right? So, like electricians, there's like over 1,000 searches a month in our area. Hooper scoopers, there was less than 10. So I was like, I don't know if this is going to be a thing. As soon as I started running Facebook ads, we went from maybe 10, 15 customers just from grinding it out to 350 in like 3 months.
Really? So
Yeah.
it's interesting because like my philosophy always is don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't educate the customer. Find a
hmm
business which someone already knows what they're looking for. Hey, you're
hmm
locked out. You call a locksmith. You don't need to learn what a locksmith is. Just do it. Hey, your
Yep.
place is dirty. Get a cleaner, right?
Yep.
This is different and it's actually working. I'm
hmm
curious on your thoughts on that. Like, was your philosophy before similar to what I did? And then, do you feel like this is an education type of model as well?
Yeah, I think it was definitely a lot of education, building the brand, which actually ended up working in our favor because now, yeah, there might be 30, 40, 50 searches a month for our service, but now at our peak months, there's like 800 searches for our actual branded terms. People
Oh, wow.
associate us with the service rather than it just being like a commodity service with a bunch of different competitors. So, which I found kind of interesting.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Um, so walking back to the economics of it,
Mhm.
so you have one truck, and did you start with doing it yourself, or how did you actually get going on this?
Yeah, so I had a business partner. So, like I said, I usually set up the marketing and the systems, and he went out and scooped the poop. He didn't even have a dog when we started, so I think he was out practicing with like rocks and stuff,
Yeah.
just to see how long it would take to scoop a yard. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, he basically handled that, all the hiring, just making sure that the operation worked. And it was basically my job to make sure the phone rings and get us money and trucks and stuff when we needed to.
Got it. And is a hard part actually getting into the yards?
Uh, Not really. Not really. We have a system, so we got everybody's. If they have a gate, we put their gate code in there. We
Okay.
actually try to make the service as professional as possible. So we clean all our equipment with like chemical grade disinfectant in between each yard, so we're not spreading Barbo or things like that. And then we take a gate photo when we leave, so the customer knows the gate's closed and their dog's not going to be let out. So just little things like that. It all kind of goes into the CRM that we use.
Got it. Interesting. And okay, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk more about the marketing too.
Mhm.
And I'm fascinated by this because not many people know about it, right? So
Yeah.
how do you educate people about it? What's worked so far? What do you train your students on at Poop Scoop Millionaire?
Mhm.
Yeah, how does that whole process work?
Yeah, so our top three acquisition channels is number one is still Facebook ads. Number two is going to be a combination of Google and SEO. And that's typically searches that were driven by Facebook ads for the most part. And then the third best channel, directly and probably indirectly, is vehicle wraps. So getting a full wrap on your vehicle. Industry people kind of like to laugh at, right? So if they see a truck that says "We Scoop Dog Poop" rolling around, it catches people's attention.
Got it. Would you mind sharing how much are you guys spending on Facebook ads at your own location?
Yeah, so it depends. We're pretty seasonal. So in our Spokane location, anyways, the snow comes and it melts, and I like to call it peak poop pain season because nobody's been out in their yard for like 3, 4, 5 months with all the snow. So during those months, I think our county has got like 500,000 people. We're spending upwards of $1,000 a day sometimes.
Wow. Okay.
But
And
just for that short period of time when the snow's melting, like I think this year we acquired like 140 customers in like 3 days once the snow melted.
what percent of the 140 is recurring?
That was pretty much all recurring. So we used to do a lot of one-time cleanups. We kind of pulled that back from our website.
Yeah.
So the only way to get that is to call in, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. And well, my thought process of this model when I was brainstorming it last week was, I don't think this would work in LA. And again, like I have many limiting beliefs about this, which you're clearly disproving with a lot of stuff, which is freaking awesome. But places like LA, I keep thinking, dude, there's traffic. You're making me drive from Beverly Hills to Santa Monica. That takes an hour in the middle of the day. There's no way. Is this true? Is my thought process true? Or this has to be a highly dense location for this to actually work?
Not necessarily. So I mean, we're in Seattle. It's a pretty dense city, right? So I usually like to set up our service areas so you can drive from one side to the other in 45 minutes or less. And then every single day you can drive that particular route in 15 minutes or less anywhere in that area. So bigger population density might actually help because you got more houses that are stacked in. You got smaller yards, which means you can get it in out faster. So I think there's a lot of benefit. I
But
mean,
you
there's
don't
a
really
lot of
mind, like you're not saying, hey, I have to hardcore target these neighborhoods because I need at least 10 in here to make the driving time make sense. You don't think about it that way?
You can kind of go about it both ways. It really depends on how big of a business that you want to build. If you're just like a solo operator, you can handle whatever 150 customers on your own. So maybe you will start with a smaller area to get it tighter. But for us, I like to go a little bit bigger because, as you know, like the Google, Facebook algorithms, like the more audience you have to actually target people with, it's going to be cheaper for you to acquire customers. So I usually try to start a little bit bigger, and then I'll just dump money in and just kind of backfill in those routes. We're more established now, also afford to do that more. The person might not be able to.
Gotcha. Okay. So for the density part. Okay. That makes a lot more sense with it. How big of an issue is like driving time? You know, like you have an employee, you're paying them hourly. Do you pay them hourly? Do you pay them per poop pickup, or how do you actually run it?
Yeah, we have been hourly so far, and we've tried to be pretty generous. So we usually pay 20, $25 an hour. We provide benefits. They get a take home truck. They work Monday through Friday. They kind of get to pick their own schedule as long as they get their route done. So we really tried to make it the best kind of entry level labor job possible. Pay a couple dollars an hour more than FedEx, Amazon, lawn care people. So we attract applications every time we post a job ad. But we are looking to switch to a pay for performance model as like a percentage of gross revenue generated. I think that's going to be able to cut down on labor a couple percentage points.
Kind of makes sense because at that point they're maybe not speeding, but they're moving a lot faster to actually get through.
Yeah.
You know, with the maid service model, because we're working on inside people's homes, we have to coordinate with them getting in and stuff. We have to schedule it around them. They're like, hey, I could do Tuesday. We schedule it at that point. When it comes to dog pickup, do they tell you when they want it, or do you just say, cool, you're once a week, we're going to be in your neighborhood because we already have 4 people there. We're going to do it on Thursday. How does it actually work for scheduling?
Yep, that's exactly right. So we'll just tell them what day of the week they have. We do have twice a week service, so we do have a little bit of flexibility if one day doesn't work for them. But for the most part, we're coming on Wednesday, and we don't give them any arrival times. Otherwise, that would be a total nightmare to schedule. We just tell them we operate like the garbage man. We optimize our routes the night before for drive time to keep the prices as affordable for you as possible. And we'll be there. We send them a 60-minute on the way text message. So if they need to come home and let their dog in or whatever, they can do that.
Yeah. Love it, man. Dude, what are the tough parts about the model? The dirty parts, the dirty secrets.
The dirty parts. One thing that I didn't expect was the seasonality of the business. I expected summer to be kind of the busy time, right? Everybody's out in the yard. Everybody's having a good time. It's actually the slowest time. The most dead time is the summer. So
Why is
Especially when we
that?
first started. We had that winter melt off. We were growing like crazy. I was like, man, I need to just like mortgage my house and throw more money into ads and stuff. This thing's crazy. And then it just like died off during the summertime. And then not until probably September, October did it start to pick back up again. So we basically,
Why is the seasonality that way?
I think a lot of people travel during the summer. A lot of people, their kids are home from school. People are out in their yard more often. So maybe you can only come out twice a week, but they're out there every day. So they just end up picking it up themselves.
Gotcha. Well, if someone wanted to start the model and say, "Hey, I want to start it, but dude, I don't want to have a vehicle. I don't want to have a wrap. I don't want to have employees. Maybe I'll try to use contractors and outsource it."
Mhm.
In this model, without branded vehicles and stuff, would that work?
Yeah, I think it could definitely work. You're not going to grow as fast. You're not going to have that brand equity, but it could definitely work. You still get clients through Google Ads. You can still post it in even like free Facebook buy sell trade groups. That's how we got our first handful of clients. So it's definitely possible. We're just running like regular ads as well. Um,
Yeah.
it's nice. It's nice, and the ads that work the best for us is if you have somebody that's in like a branded uniform. If they're standing in front of a
Right.
branded vehicle, they look like a real person because people think it's just a joke until they actually go out and see that. So that definitely helps. You might not always be able to get away with that with contractors, but you can. I'm sure you can make it work.
Interesting. Okay. How many vehicles do you guys have right now at your location?
So our first location, so we got like 15 or 16 trucks. And then our second location, I think we have 7 cars. And this was interesting because at our first location, we wanted to be full service. So we actually take the waste with us. We put it in a big centralized dumpster with waste management. We figured out that customers don't actually care if you take the garbage or not, or the waste or not. So we just double bag it, put it in the customer's trash can in Seattle. So we're able to run around with little Chevy Sparks to
Oh,
get
is
like
that
triple the
okay?
gas mileage.
Like
Yeah.
they're fine with you putting in their trash can. They just don't want to
Yeah, they
pick it
don't.
up.
Yeah, nobody cares. I was pretty surprised. Yeah, we had about the same growth rate.
Dude, that's incredible. Like, first of all, it is sometimes mind blowing to me that people pay for this when it's like, hey, the trash can's in the backyard and the poop's in the backyard. However, I'm not going to lift up to put it from there to there. I'm going to hire someone to do that for me.
Yeah, I know. People hire people to do something. They got food in their fridge, right? They still go out to eat.
Sure, that's a good, fair point. It's a fair point, and clearly it works, right? I mean, like, I don't want to touch
Yeah,
dog poop, so I understand. If I could pay
yeah,
someone $25 and they clean my whole yard, why
yeah.
not? That's a
So a
good,
couple coffees a week, or I don't have to pick dog poop up ever again. It's a
yeah,
good trade for some people.
definitely. What else, man? What are some of the hard parts about the business that people aren't thinking about?
Yeah. So as you grow, there's definitely going to be different bottlenecks. So for most people getting into business, typically the bottleneck is they don't know how to get customers. So if you can
Right.
kind of fix that, I'd say that's kind of the biggest part people get stuck at. Once you figure that out, it turns into other problems like, oh man, I got to buy these cars. I got to figure out how to hire people. I got to figure out how to train people. So as you grow, kind of the constraint will change. But I don't think that's exclusive to the pooper scooper business. It's kind of for any business.
Got it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, on your own business now, how many hours a week are you spending on it?
I don't really have to. I mean, we have operations manager, we got office manager, we got a couple office people, we got field managers in all the locations. My business partner oversees all those people, so tinker around with marketing here or there, but I can really get away with spending a couple hours to no hours if I wanted to. But I also
Yeah,
like to work, so I'm always
cool.
trying to find ways to make things better.
Yeah. Can you tell me more about Poop Scoop Millionaire? What exactly is it?
Yeah, so Poop Scoop Millionaire is an online community. So we're trying to decide what we wanted to do. We are continuing to open up new locations. We looked at franchising. We just ended up to go with the community route. So basically, A to Z, show people exactly how we started our business. We go over our marketing tactics from Google SEO, Facebook ads, what equipment to buy. And it's almost kind of turning into somewhat of an association as well because we have I think over 800 members in there right now. So I'm able to go out and also start negotiating discounts. So the CRM a lot of people use, we have a discount on that, discount on bags, discount on truck wraps. Um, so it's kind of what we've been building out over the last year or so. And that definitely became a lot more popular than I thought as well.
Yeah. What are, someone wants to start a dog poop scoop
Mm-hmm.
business. How much would it cost? How much should they budget for this?
Yeah, well, just getting your equipment and stuff. I think, like you said, it was like $175 to get your scooping bag, like a year's worth of kennel grade disinfectant. So you can get your stuff for not a lot of money. Obviously, if you want to get your business license and get insurance and be legit, it's going to cost a little bit more. Um, but I mean, yeah, 500 to $1,000, you could be a legit business out there starting to get clients.
Okay, very cool. And if someone's starting from scratch and they're like, all right, well, I got everything set up, I wrap my vehicle, I got my equipment, I practice on rocks. How do I get my first customers? What would you
Mhm.
say?
Yeah, so there's a couple methods that I like. So we got our first customers through free buy sell trade groups on Facebook. So doing that, and then a combination of what I like to call the free trial method, because a lot of people don't know the service exists. You just reach out to every person that you know that has a dog or might have a dog or interacts with you on social media. Say, hey, we're offering this new service. We're offering 2 free cleanups just in exchange for some feedback. Maybe give us a good Google review. You found the service useful. And that's how you get a lot of people in the door, especially if you don't have a lot of money. You got more time. It's a really great way to go about it.
Got it. Well, I'm curious, are there people who sign up for Poop Scoop Millionaire where maybe you're looking at their market and you're like, hey, dude, I just don't think it's going to work in your market. And if so, how do you analyze the market?
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen, the only time I would maybe say that is if you're in a really rural area and there's maybe less than like 10,000 people in your area and they're all super spaced out. I'd say that might not be the best area, but for the most part, it's kind of an emerging industry. So even if there's a lot of other scoopers in your area, which typically there's not, we're more so competing against people that still don't even know the service exists versus each other at this point. So
Mm,
it's kind of a big reason I'm hopping on the podcast and things like that, just to let people know that the industry is actually a real industry. So
yeah. It is funny because you see it and everyone's probably first reaction is like they chuckle and then they're like, wait a frickin' second, like that
yeah,
actually might work, you know? It's like
yeah,
realization.
yeah, it does work, and it's a great business, especially if you're just a solopreneur. Maybe you're starting your first business, like a solo person that could be bringing in 6 figures plus without any employees. If they're willing to scoop dog poop, like it's kind of a
Yeah.
no brainer, right? I mean, we got like
Yeah.
teenage kids and stuff out there that are making good money from
Put
this
some
business.
headphones in and just go get it. Yeah.
Yeah, yep,
Very cool.
exactly.
Will, if people want to learn more about Poop Scoop Millionaire, the community you have on school, just learn more about the model and talk to you, where can they
Mhm.
find you?
Yeah, so definitely, if you just Google Poop Scoop Millionaire, you join our school community. That's pretty much the only way to talk to me directly. I answer all my DMs first thing every morning. If you're not ready to commit to that, we also have a free YouTube channel called Scoop Start. So I walk through a bunch of videos on marketing, kind of the business basics. So that'd probably be the second best place.
Love it, man. We'll put links to all of that in the show notes as well. And Will, thanks so much for hopping on, dude.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.